Hey, what's up? Yin here, and this is the JIALAI Carat single dynamic driver IEM. It sounds really good for the price that it's asking for. By the way, it's asking for 65 US dollars, as you can see, and it is just a single dynamic driver IEM with DLC titanium coated diaphragm dynamic driver inside. Okay, so let's talk about it, and I'll share with you guys my opinion and also show you the graph of this IEM. First, let's go through the accessories. This is the box that it comes in, okay? And inside the box, you'll find a carrying case, a leather carrying case, hard shell carrying case. Well, this is not real leather, of course. This is just synthetic leather. And then you get two types of ear tips. One is a wide bore and a normal bore, pretty narrow, not very narrow, but pretty narrow bore ear tip. And of course, a cable. Now, this is a 4-core cable terminated with a single ended 3.5 headphone jack, straight type. And cable is a little bit on the stiff side. It's a little bit stiff. It's braided and it's kind of grippy as well. The Y split is here, and the chin slide is kind of stiff as well, quite tight. Ear hooks is a little bit on the stiff side as well. But yeah, overall, this cable is an upgraded cable. It's not the best cable, but it still works. Okay. Now let's talk about the IEM itself. First, let's go through the specs of this. So I've got the box here. The impedance is 32 ohms. Frequency range is 10 to 28,000 hertz. And the sensitivity is 106. Okay, so that's the specs. In terms of design and build quality, the design of it is actually quite similar to the most of the SIMGOTS. SIMGOTS has got aluminum alloy shell, which is something like so. It's got this mirror-like finish as well. The form factor is a little bit smaller than the EA500, as you can see, and is it's metal, aluminum. And it's got a bit of weight to it. It's not totally hollow inside. And the inner shell is actually, pretty industrial looking. But it's all right. Okay, the nozzle is a brass nozzle and it's inserted into the IEM itself with a paper filter. Okay, now let's talk about the fit and comfort, and these fit me very well. In fact, I sleep with this. I've been sleeping with this for the past few nights now. And it's very comfortable to wear. Doesn't give me any pain or any discomfort when I'm wearing them, even for long periods of listening session. So no issues with the fit and comfort. Alright, so now let's talk about the performance of this IEM. Actually, for the price that it's asking for, 65 US dollars, they perform really well. Overall resolution and the clarity of the sound is nice. It's very clear for the price. Okay, I'm not saying it's the cleanest sound and clearest sound, but for the price that it's asking for, it's very good. Okay, and for the soundstage, this is what blew my mind. The soundstage on this is wide, is spacious, is airy, and overall a very natural soundstage, well placed out type of soundstage. So I like the soundstage on this. Sound separation as well, and imaging of all my instruments and vocals within that soundstage is also very realistic. And yeah, I like the soundstage on this. Okay. As I mentioned, the overall resolution of this is good for the price it's asking for, $65. Better than some. In fact, it's performing above its price point. It sounds better than some IEMs that cost much more than this. And in terms of detail retrieval, it's good, but it's a little bit veiled because of the tuning. Okay. So that's the technical performance of this. Now let's talk about the tone and timbre. Tone and timbre is natural sounding, is more of a balanced tuning. So it's a bit textured. It's got quite a good tone in terms of natural tone. Okay, and timbre sounds balanced lah. I wouldn't say it's lean or thin or whatever, but to me it sounds natural. So it's a pretty natural sounding tone and timbre. Okay. Now, let's talk about the sound signature of this, and let me just whip out my graph and my measuring rig, and let's measure this in front of you guys. And I'm going to compare the measurement and with some other IEMs here, which I'll measure live as well, so that you guys get very realistic comparison. In fact, this is the best way to compare IEMs, to measure them live together. In fact, I already measured it, as you can see, but I'm just going to do it again so that you guys can see the actual response of the particular earphone. So let me just bring my cable out, and I'm going to just measure one side so that you guys don't get bored. Yeah, so I'm gonna measure the Carat first, okay, and put the left side. Where's the left side? Okay, so left side is here. Let's put the left side in, and then okay, so left side's in. Now let's bring up my VLC, okay, and then I'll play my pink noise. Let's see if I got every settings done. It should be yeah, it looks okay. Graph looks okay, but I shouldn't be talking, so I'm just gonna keep quiet. I'm not too sure about this bump here, so I'm just gonna restart my app, see what it works. Okay, so this is the graph of the JIALAI Carat or Carat. Okay, so let's analyze this first before I compare it with some other IEMs. So as you can see, right, the sub bass is quite elevated, and then it'll start to fade off at the mid bass. So mid bass is kind of like, it's quite natural basically for mid bass to fade down into the mids, and because your peanut gain is kind of natural at this level here, so that you get a sense of that rhythm and the music, so you get that V-shaped here. So this is a pretty natural curve in terms of harmon. Is quite harmonish, okay, and overall what you will get from this tuning is that you get elevated bass, recessed mids, and elevated treble. Okay, but for the treble here, you can see that it actually slopes down as well. So this part here, recently I've seen quite a few companies do this fading of the treble, which affects the brightness and the sibilance of the earphones itself. So I would say this is improved. I mean, they learn, right? These companies, they learn, and they tend to adapt the tuning of the IEM to what we prefer to listen to, right? So based on this graph, looking at this graph, is actually a very smooth, dark, a little bit dark type of tuning with no shoutiness. Over here, this is where the intensity and the shout of certain instruments and vocals will come in. And when I listen to my tracks, it doesn't sound shouty or too intimate or too spicy and too intense. So this part here is actually pretty good, well tuned, not too intense. At the same time, it's not too dull as well. It's not too recessed, whereby there's no sense of oomph to the track, the entire track that you're listening to. So this part here, whereby they call it the peanut gain, you don't get that intensity, right? So this is just nicely tuned, okay? And where the treble is, there's no sibilance, no overall sharpness, to the ears. Okay, so overall tuning is like so. As I mentioned, I like this tuning very much, and it's very suitable for a lot of genre of music because it's quite balanced. At the same time, it's not shouty at all. So yeah, so when I listen to my songs, my tracks, my test tracks, by the way, you can get a list of my test tracks down below in the description, and you can, listen to the tracks that I listen to when I test my IEMs. Okay, and then you maybe can comment on what you hear from those test tracks on your IEM. Okay, so this is for the Carat, and I would say is actually suitable for most genre of music. Okay, pop songs, classical, jazz, anything that you throw at this, it would sound pretty good. Except for classical, I would say classical is a little bit on the not so detailed side. Okay, I would prefer something that is brighter, so that it brings out the details of my classical songs, but this is not so detailed, basically, as compared to my EA500. And because of the boosted bass, the sub bass, it actually veils a little bit of the mids, so that I can't really hear much of my instruments. Okay, so now let's compare it with let's say the EA500 LM. Okay, so this is actually very close to the EA500 LM. So I'm just gonna measure this EA500 LM and show you guys the difference, and then you guys can have a better understanding why this Carat is really value for money. Okay, this measuring rig measure the sound signature, right? But it cannot measure tone and timbre. It cannot measure the overall technical performance of an IEM. Okay, so just bear that in mind. I'm just going to save this. In fact, I've already saved it, but I'm just going to save it again. And let's use this. Oops. Copy selected file name. Let's give it a date. Okay, so today is the 29th of March. Okay, and this is the left side. All right. Store file. And I'm going to recall it. So it's on the graph. Okay, I'm going to reset this graph. So now this line here, this green line here that you see is what I measured, okay, for the Carat. Now let's measure the LM, okay, which is right here, and see how it compares to the Carat. I think my pink noise is not playing again, so let's make sure it's playing. Reset the graph. All right, so there you go. That is the measurement of the EA500 LM. Now, if you look at these two graphs, okay, by the way, the LM is the blue line and the Carat or the Carat is the green line. If you look at these two lines, they are a little bit, off by just maybe 1 or 2 dBs. And to be honest, our human ears will not be able to tell the difference between these two. What I can say is that the LM has got a little bit more extended sub bass, okay, and that's about it. That's about it for the overall sound signature that you see right here, comparing the Carat and the LM. But as I mentioned earlier, there is also tone and timbre, technical performance of these two IEMs that makes it different. The type of driver that these two have, they are different as well. So there is a difference in terms of the sound. Okay, this LM would sound much more technically advanced. Okay, it's better lah. Basically in resolution, in overall soundstage, technically it's better than, it's a better set than the Carat. Okay, now in terms of price, okay, the LM is $90. The Carat is $65. So that's where the difference come in. This Carat sounds quite similar to the LM. You're getting a similar sound, but at a price of $65. So that's where you get that value of money from this Carat. Okay, but other than that, this would sound better, a little bit clearer, I would say cleaner, and the soundstage is a little bit more, I would say more immersive. and the tone on this would sound a little bit more natural than the Carat. Okay, so that's the only difference. So yeah, you get a good sound, right, for about a cheaper price. Okay, so that's the comparison with the LM. Now let's compare it with the EA500. Okay, so this is the original EA500, which is still my favorite. And the reason why it's still my favorite is because of the tuning, not so much on the technical performance, okay, but it still sounds pretty good. Okay, so let's put this into where's the left side? Okay, so the left side, so I'll put it into the coupler. All right, let's measure this. Let's save the LM EA500 and LM left side. Okay, so I'm saving this file and I'm going to recall it. Okay, so I have two files on screen now. I've got the JIALAI and I've got the EA500 LM. Now let's measure the EA500 and see how this compares to the other two. I'm going to play my pink noise again and let's see. All right, so let's bring the iPad a little bit closer. Yeah, so if you look at the blue line, that is the EA500, and well, the orange line is the LM, and the green line is the JIALAI. Okay, so there are three lines here. The blue line is the EA500. This is the reason why I like the EA500 because of this non-intrusive sub-bass region all the way up to 125 hertz. And yeah, basically this tuning here would give the mid bass a bit more room to shine. So I get a little bit more impact from the EA500 in opposed to the rumble. So I'm not hearing so much of that rumble. And the extension of the rumble, as you can see, is not so extended. It's actually rolled off. And if you look at this part here, the treble, the peanut gain, is actually quite intense, okay, but not as sharp and not as energetic, but it's still intense. It's much more intense than the other two, and it's darker as well. So it's not as bright, but it's darker. But yeah, overall, this balance here sounds better to my ears as compared to the other two. Now let's measure the third IM that I have here, which is the recent one which I just reviewed, and the Singolo. This is the Singolo, as you guys know, is tuned by Clinical himself. So let's compare the graph. Okay, let's see. Let's put it in, and let me just remind you, this is a live measurement, so you can actually see the difference between the IEMs. So I'm going to save this EA500 measurement. Okay, the left side. All right. So this is done. I'm going to recall it. So now I have three lines on the graph. Okay, I've got the Carat, which is this green line here. In fact, I think the color is going to change when I do a new measurement. So let's not go through the colors. All right. So let's just measure this. First, make sure my pink noise is playing. Okay, and then reset this and let's play. I might need to increase the volume a little bit because I think the Singolo needs a little bit more power. Let's reset this. All right, so let's take a look at the graph. Okay, so this blue line, now the blue line is the Singolo. Okay, and then this really light blue or green teal color is the EA500, and the orange line is the LM, and the green line is still the Carat or Carat. So look at the blue line. Okay, so this blue line here, as you can see, the mid bass is scooped out, all right, this will remove some of that mud from the mid bass, and it gives more rumble to the track that you're listening to. So basically, for the single low, in terms of bass, I like the bass. Okay, it's got good rumble, very big, enormous, very prominent type of sub bass. Okay, because mid bass is like scooped out. You get very little impact. Okay, from the tracks that you're listening to. At the same time, is not the brightest. Okay, so if you look at the pinna gain as well and the scoop of the treble itself, first the pinna gain. The pinna gain is a very laid back type of pinna gain, so you don't get that intensity. You don't get that spiciness from the track that you're listening to. Some people may say it's boring. Yeah. Okay. So to me, this is this part here. In fact, I like the bass, the presentation of the mids as well. But it's the treble that I don't really feel that it's my kind of tuning. So this treble here, as you can see, if you compare it with the Carat and LM and the EA500, is very, very scooped out. And this will give the treble a very dark and laid back type of treble. Is kind of a pillowed type of response, and yeah, makes my track sounds a little bit dull. Okay. So as you can see, guys, I measured it. You can see the graphs side by side, real life measurement, real time measurement, and you can see comparison of all the earphones. And to be honest, of all the earphones that have been measured here, my favorite is still the EA500. Second would be the LM. Third would be this Carat, and obviously the single low will be last. But yeah, Carat. Back to the Carat. It's value for money. It's $65. Not very expensive comparing to the other IEMs that I've measured here and compared here. This is the best value, best bang for the buck. Okay. Right, so that completes my overall review and opinion about this JIALAI Carat. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys have a great day ahead, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.